Welcome to the Student World Talks. My name is Lean, and today I will be the host for today's episode. I'm very excited and happy to be here. And I was actually reading the chat. I saw many comments from you guys before I even asked you to comment, which is very, very nice of you guys because you know that I always like to start this live by asking you guys to comment your countries, where are you watching us from, and also you could tell me if this is your first time watching the Student World Talks or this is your second time, just because, I see a couple of familiar names and I want to know if you guys joined us before. So I feel like you guys are very excited and I am too. So that's really amazing. I want us to like talk together, communicate, ask questions, and always, do not hesitate to tell us what are your study abroad goals, your dreams, and just keep asking throughout the live, and we will be picking the questions and answering them. So the comments that I see here: hi Victor from Nigeria, hello Sally from Argentina, hi Shreya from India, and hello Zainab from Nigeria as well. I see Olymp from Nigeria as well, a lot of people from Nigeria. Jessica from Brazil, hello. Hi, Euphoria from Venezuela. And hello from Mexico City, Laura. And also, I see Fernando from Argentina, Gloria from Kenya. Um, So, Everton, this is your first time attending this meeting, so welcome. I really hope that you benefit from this and that you really get a lot of information that you're looking for, anything related to studying abroad and specifically in Canada. So, welcome, Everton. Hi, Alfredo from Mexico and Julia from Vietnam. From Senegal. So, Kevin is asking, where am I from? I am actually originally from Syria, but I came to Canada almost 4 years ago, now almost 5 years ago, to study here. Like, so I was just like you guys looking for information to study abroad, to pursue this dream abroad. And Canada was one of my top favorite destinations. So I was able to accomplish this goal and come to Canada to study here. So, just like you, how you guys commented here your names and you were saying hello, I want you to keep doing that throughout the live and talking to us and asking us questions. Like I'm very excited for today. It's a new day, a new live, a new opportunity for you guys to ask questions and to find the answers that you are looking for, because this is what we do here. We help you reach your goals by giving you information and by bringing guests just like today from universities, or even sometimes we bring students who can talk about their own experiences of studying abroad. So I just want to remind you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notified for about every YouTube video that we upload, and also like this video if you feel like you're benefiting and if you're enjoying what you are seeing. So now it's finally time to introduce what today's episode is all about. So it is with a university located in Ottawa, which is Canada's capital city, and it is ranked as the number one best place to live for newcomers to Canada. It offers exceptional student support for students through many services and has one of the most generous scholarship and bursary programs available in Canada. So it is also ranked as the number 3 for overall satisfaction among students. So this attractive institution is very attractive for employers as well. So it is Carleton University. Let's watch this video together to know more about this amazing institution.
You're born, everything is new and different. But over time, sameness takes over. Lessons become habits, become doctrine. It's easier not to question the way things are. But there is another way. A world that's propelled by the past, not held back by it. To create it, we have to challenge what we think we know. Defy received ideas and conventions. Leave fear behind and move beyond intention alone. We're focused on driving impact in the world, creating inclusive and sustainable change. The problems of today won't be solved by the thinking and doing of yesterday. So we're starting now. Challenging our understanding of business and politics. Challenging boundaries with new discoveries and technologies. Challenging our country's history and working towards a more just and equitable future, together in a good way. Because when we challenge the way things have always been done, we can do things we've never dreamed of.
That was great. Now it's finally time to bring our lovely guest for today on stage. So, hello, Emily.
Hi, Liam. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Yeah, thank you for being here. How do you feel being here? Like seeing students from all over the world. They're even commenting now their dream to study abroad and telling us their plans. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, I love asking students where they're from, and a lot of the time I'm in like a specific region of the world, so it's really cool that we're seeing people from all over the world today. Thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. So let's start by giving an introduction to yourself. So, can you just tell the students who you are and what do you do for Carleton University?
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Emily, and I'm an international admissions and recruitment officer here at Carleton. So that means that I talk to international students just like yourselves who are looking to come to Canada to start their university education, or sometimes even just continue their university education. And so in a normal year, I'd get to travel and I'd get to see all of you face to face. But for right now, it's all virtual. Um, and then I'm also on the other side of things. I'm an admissions officer, so I'm going to be one of the people who are looking at your applications and assessing your applications and then sending you an offer to our university if you're eligible. I also went to Carleton as a student. So I grew up in a small city that's about 5 or 6 hours away from Ottawa. And I went to Carleton to study criminology and criminal justice. So if you have questions about the student experience or about what it's like to study in Ottawa or at Carleton, I can definitely answer that as well, considering I was a student. So that's a little bit about me. And I look forward to answering all of your questions today. So keep them coming.
That's perfect. So, guys, Emily is the perfect person to actually give you a perspective from the students' point of view and actually more about programs, admission, and scholarships and anything that you need to know. So, that's perfect, Emily. Thank you for that. So, now let's start by talking about Carleton University. Can you give the students an introduction about Carleton University and also mention some of the unique qualities of Carleton University?
Yes, I definitely can. So here at Carleton, we have 22 different undergraduate degree programs, and those degree programs fall over 5 different faculties. So if you don't know what a faculty is, it's basically like an academic unit or an academic house that has more specific programs within it. So we have business, we have engineering and design, we have arts and social sciences, we have public affairs, and then we have science. So we have a lot of really unique programs. Some of the programs that make us well known, or some of the ones that we offer that not many other schools offer, would be aerospace engineering. So students who want to look at designing and developing airplanes and aircrafts, that's one of the ones that make us really unique. We also have a school of journalism, and our school of journalism was the first school of journalism in Canada, and it's also the biggest school of journalism in Canada. So we get a lot of students coming to us who are interested in something like media or communications or reporting, whether it be newspaper, social media, or live TV broadcast. And because we're located in Ottawa, which is Canada's capital city, we have a whole wealth of resources located here in our city. We have access to the federal government. So a lot of our students who are doing projects will actually go out into the community. Some of our journalism students will interview members of parliament, or will be able to work on special projects with different politicians here in our city. So we have a lot of sort of arts-based programs such as communication and media studies, Our criminology program is really strong and something that we're well known for. And we're also one of the only schools in Canada to offer a law program at the undergraduate level. So if you're thinking of going into law school or anything in the legal field, then we have some really good options for you within our Bachelor of Arts degree. So that's a little overview of Carleton. But if you have more specific questions about programs, please feel free to send those questions in.
That sounds great, Emily. Thank you for that. And they do have a lot of questions about programs. But before we get to that topic, can you just describe the feeling of being there on campus at Carleton University? Is it usually like more busy? Are the classes big or small? And just an overview of how does it feel being there?
Yeah, it's funny you asked this because I actually got to go onto Carleton's campus for not last week, so 2 weeks ago, for the first time in nearly 2 years because I was working from home during the pandemic. But I finally got to go back to campus, and I was really excited because Carleton's campus has such a strong community feel to it. We are a self contained campus, which means that we are all located in one area. So I know that some universities are kind of spread out over a city or they're spread out over a downtown area. But Carleton is the opposite. We have everything that is all things Carleton are in one spot. And so that means that everything that you're passing when you're on campus is a Carleton building, and every single person that you see on campus is a member of the Carleton community. So you'll see students, you'll see your professors, and you'll see staff members. The campus is about medium size. So it's not too big, but it's not too small. If you were going to walk from one end of campus to the other, it would take you about 10 minutes. But the campus itself is broken up really nicely because you have all of your academic buildings in one area. Then you've got all of your residence buildings in another area. So that's where our students are living on campus. And then we have all of our athletic facilities in that third area. So it's super easy to navigate your way around campus and to find what you're looking for. And then one of my favorite things about Carleton's physical campus or physical location is our underground tunnel system. So every single building on campus is connected through heated underground tunnels, which is great for a few different reasons. One, when it's minus 30 degrees outside and it's really cold and it's snowing, you don't actually have to go outside. You can just go down into the tunnels and you can get anywhere you want on campus. But it's also what makes us very accessible, and we're one of the top universities in Canada for accessibility because, for example, people who are in wheelchairs, they're able to get around without having to go outside in the snow. They can just go down into the tunnels and get anywhere they need. And then in terms of class sizes, you'll actually see a huge range of class sizes. So when you're in your first year, a lot of the time your class sizes will be bigger. So I remember when I was in first year, some of my introductory courses were up to 500 people. So you'd have these big lecture halls with lots of people in them. But then as you sort of move on throughout your upper years, you'll notice that your class sizes get smaller and smaller. And that's because your courses become more specific. So you could have classes with as few as 20 people. So basically anywhere between 20 students to 500 students is what you'll see. But generally, as you move throughout your time and you get closer to your final year at Carleton, the class sizes get smaller.
That sounds great. It sounds like such a beautiful campus with so many amazing features. So thank you for that overview. So now that we're going to talk about programs, I see a couple of questions here from the students. Prush is asking, can I study nursing at Carleton?
That's a good question. And that's actually a question I get a lot. We don't have a nursing program at Carleton, but the closest thing that we have would be health sciences. So, Bachelor of Health Sciences is one of our degrees, and we have 5 different majors that students can choose from. So, one of them being biomedical sciences. And if you do want to become a nurse, then this is a good pathway to choose. You can get your degree in health sciences, and then sometimes people will go on and take a college course for a year or two to get their full nursing degree after that. But we don't offer nursing as a program on its own. Health sciences would be the closest thing.
Great. And Daniela is asking about biomedicine.
Okay, awesome. So we do have we have biomedical sciences. We actually have two different types of biomed. One being as part of our health sciences degree, biomedical sciences is one of the majors that you can choose from. We do also have biomedical engineering. So if students are interested in, designing and developing technology that's used in the medical field, then that might be something that would be of interest to you. With biomedical engineering, you get to choose one of two routes. You can either do biomedical and electrical or biomedical and mechanical. So those are looking at developing things like X-ray machines and MRI machines, or if you're looking at biomedical and mechanical, then you'd be looking at designing things like prosthetics. So you can have the science piece if you wanted to do biomedical sciences, or you could do biomedical engineering.
Great. Thank you. So there was also a question. I'm trying to find it. It was about, oh, yeah, it's right here. So Rachel is asking, are there business programs?
Yes, we have a couple different business programs. So we have a Bachelor of Commerce. Commerce is another word for business. And within the Bachelor of Commerce, we have a few different concentrations that you can choose. You don't have to choose a concentration if you don't want to. You can get the general commerce degree. But if there's an area that you're really focused on, then you can definitely choose one as well. We have accounting, we have finance, we have entrepreneurship, marketing, management, supply chain management, and information systems. The other business degree that we have is our Bachelor of International Business. That one is a bit different. It's really cool and it's got the international piece to it. So students who are studying international business will learn a new language in their first 2 years at Carleton. So you can choose something like French, Spanish, Japanese, German, or Mandarin. And then when you're in your third year, you will go abroad and study and live in a country for a year. And you'll choose a country based on the language that you're learning. So, for example, some of our students who are learning French choose to go to France or Belgium. And some of the students who are studying Spanish will choose to go to Chile or Spain. So you've got that international piece there, and there's a couple different majors that you can choose from as well. But the biggest difference between commerce and international business is that international business does have that the travel component to it, or the international piece to it.
That sounds very interesting, actually. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So Fernando is asking if you have anything related to the IT industry.
Yeah, we actually have a Bachelor of Information Technology. And this is a really unique program. I always like talking about it because it's a program where so you get a degree from Carleton, but we are partnered with the college that's located in Ottawa as well. It's called Algonquin College. So during your time at Carleton, which is 4 years, you get a degree and you get a diploma. And normally, if you were to do these two programs separately, it would take you a total of 7 years because you would get the 4 year degree and then the 3 year diploma. But because it's a joint program, you get both the degree and diploma within the 4 years. Carleton focuses on the theoretical side of things with information technology. And then you would do so about 60% of your classes happen at Carleton. And then about 40% of your classes would happen at the college, which is not too far from Carleton. And that's really where you get the practical experience. So the hands on part of information technology. And we do have a few different majors within information technology that you can choose from. One of them being optical systems and sensors. So we have a few very unique ones. We also have information resource management. We have network technology, and we have interactive multimedia and design. So you have a few different areas that you can choose from if you want to get really specific within information technology.
Perfect. So Paulus is just sharing how the undergrad tunnel seems lovely, and I, I actually agree. It does sound very interesting. Gloria is asking if robotics is offered.
So we do have robotics. We don't have it as a program, and we don't have it as like a major. But for students who want to just learn more about it, we do offer classes. So for students who are in engineering and design, or computer science, or one of those programs, they have the option to take robotics as as a class.
Perfect. Allison is asking about architecture.
Yes, we do have architecture. Within the Faculty of Engineering and Design, we have our Bachelor of Architectural Studies. We even have an entire building that is just dedicated for architecture students. So you've got studios in there. You've got specific learning spaces for just you and people in your program. Within architecture, we have three different majors that you get to choose from. So we have design, which is the most popular one, and then we also have urbanism, and we have conservation and sustainability. With architecture, and I should have mentioned this about some of our other programs, there is the opportunity to do co-op. And for those of you who don't know, co-op is it's a work opportunity. So if you choose to do co-op, you'll complete 4 different work terms, and each work term is 4 months long. So it'd be a total of 16 months long. And it typically starts the summer after you complete your second year. So you'll do your first 2 years, and then you get to start your co-op when you want. And so you get to work with a company who, you get to work with professionals who are in your field. And our architecture students usually come across some really great opportunities and really great companies here in Ottawa. So architecture is a great program that I always love to promote.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So, you mentioned that you talked a little bit about the engineering faculties, and a lot of the students are very interested in that. And Carleton has one of the largest engineering faculties in Canada, and it received the top 10 rankings for computer science. So, can you maybe like tell the students just more details about those faculties and the programs offered in the engineering field specifically?
Yeah, for sure. So our engineering and it's our faculty called engineering and design is a really big one. We have 13 different streams of engineering at Carleton. So like you said, it's one of the biggest ones, biggest engineering programs in the country. We have aerospace, which I mentioned is our most competitive stream of engineering and our most popular. There's only one other university in Ontario that has aerospace engineering. We have biomedical engineering, like I mentioned, civil engineering, communications engineering, computer systems. We have engineering physics, we have environmental engineering, mechanical engineering, software engineering, and then sustainable and renewable energy engineering. So, whatever type of engineering you are interested in, we likely have a great stream for you. And engineering programs also let students do co-op, so you can get that work opportunity as well. Part of our engineering faculty are our design programs. So if you're really interested in engineering and you really like designing and developing things, and you want to bring an even more creative piece into it, maybe like an artistic piece, we do have those design programs. So architecture is one of them. So looking at the design of things like buildings. We also offer a unique program called industrial design. And industrial design is looking at designing things both 3D and 2D. So anything that you can touch or hold in your hand. We have an entire studio that our industrial design students use, and they have different things like chairs and tables and lamps that they have all designed. But then they also do a little bit of graphic design as well. So that's one of our unique programs that falls under the Faculty of Engineering and Design. And then the last one that I want to mention is interactive multimedia and design. So that's looking at that's not the one I wanted to mention. Media production and design. That one is looking at creating different types of media. So you do need like the math for that. It's helpful to have science courses for that. But if you're looking at maybe like the less sciencey part of things and you really want to design things and get creative, then some of our design schools might be of interest to you. So you got those engineering programs and the design programs, all of which are great choices. And then all of our students who are students within the Faculty of Engineering and Design, they get to be a part of the Engineering Student Society. And this society is made up of only students who are in engineering. Purple is their color. And so a lot of the time during the first week of school, you often see people who will be like dressed in all purple, or they'll even like dye their hair purple, or like, their skin will be purple, because the students in these programs are very tight knit, and it's a very close community with lots of support. And it's a really great way for you to meet other students as well, who are maybe international students or students who are just in your program, but maybe not necessarily in your classes. And there's always different events that go on throughout the year that are specifically for students in engineering or one of our design programs. So you'll find that both inside and outside the classroom, it's a really strong program where you can make connections with your peers and with people, in the greater Carleton community.
Yeah, that sounds really great. Like you said, like at the same time, they're pursuing what they love and also getting to know new people, making new friends, because that's really important as an international student as well. So Marlene has a question. Do you have a program for accounting students, like postgraduate or a specialization?
Yeah, so if you have already done, so we have an accounting program at the undergraduate level. We do also have a master's of accounting. So if that's what you mean by postgraduate, you can do a master's of accounting degree at Carleton. That would be like the best thing if you're looking to go into accounting, or you're looking to become like a professional accountant. Then doing that program would be a really good fit. So if you just look up Masters of Accounting, we call it the MAC program for short. You'll be able to find a lot of information about that program on our website.
Great. And so Soul Math Solutions, okay, so is asking, do you offer masters in statistics?
I believe we do. I only take care, like I only manage undergraduate programs, but I do believe, because we have masters in mathematics and statistics as part of that. So I believe we do, but if you want to look that up, or if you want to email, we have a whole office specifically for graduate students or students who are looking for a master's program. You can definitely email them, and they will be able to provide more information. So their email, I don't know if there's a way for me to put it in here, but it's just graduate.studies@carleton.ca. I
Yeah,
don't know if there's a place.
you can
Is there a
definitely
spot?
put in the private chat and then,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. I'll do that, and then maybe it can get posted publicly. Awesome.
All right, perfect. So one of the admission requirements for Carleton is obviously like having the English requirements. But what can students do if they don't have the ESL requirements for admission?
That's a good question. So I often talk to students a lot, and they're asking me about the English language requirements. So let me break it down for you. Um, you can so when you come to Carleton, because Carleton is an English speaking institution, you have to prove, or you have to show us proof of English proficiency. The first way that you can do that is by showing us that you have studied in a country whose primary language is English, so such as the United States, or the United Kingdom, or if you've been studying in a curriculum that is English speaking. So if you've been studying maybe like in an American high school, but you're living in Colombia, or if you're living somewhere in the Middle East, but you've been studying if you've been doing the British system. If you can show us that you have been studying for a minimum of 3 years full time in English, then that will satisfy the English language requirement. But if you have not been studying in English, then you will be required to submit an English language test result. So we accept many different tests. We accept IELTS, CALE, TOEFL, Pearson. This year only, we're accepting Duolingo. And if you actually go to our website, which again I'll post in the private chat, and then that way it can go public for you all. You can see, if you go to this webpage, you'll be able to see the different tests that we accept. And then you'll also be able to see the scores that you need. So, for example, if you're submitting an IELTS test, you'll need a minimum of a 6.5, with a minimum of 6 in each band. And that will give you admission with no ESL requirement. But the cool thing is that with each of our tests, we have that minimum requirement, but then we also have another requirement where if you don't meet that minimum requirement, you can still be eligible, but you'll just be required to take courses, ESL courses in your first couple of years. So I can see that the link was just posted in the public chat. So go look at that link, have a look at our tests, and then you'll be able to see exactly what you need from each of the tests.
Yeah, that was really interesting because when I was doing the research, I saw these ESL foundation courses, and I thought like that's such a great opportunity for students to take English courses and at the same time also continue their education at Carleton. So will they be doing it like at the same time, or are they going to be like taking credits to continue their bachelor's degree?
Yeah, that's a great question. Students will be taking ESL courses at the same time as taking some courses in their program. So I believe it's 2 ESL courses in their first semester and in their second semester. So that will give them about 3 courses to take in their degree program. So, for example, if someone is studying political science, then they'll have room to take 3 courses within political science, and then the other 2 courses will be reserved for ESL. So you're still taking courses in your program. You're just some of the classes are being taken up by ESL courses, which you do get credit for.
Mhm. Okay, perfect. So, as you were talking about the faculties of engineering, you were talking a lot about like having to learn inside and outside of the classroom. So, can you talk a little bit about the learning style at Carleton University? Is it like more practical or is it more research based?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's honestly really whatever you want to make it. So, if you're someone who is really interested in science and you want to get into the lab and you want to do research, you can do that. Because a lot of our science courses have a lab component to it. And there's also research opportunities right beginning in first year. So, you can work with current professors and even graduate students, so master students or PhD students, and you can do research in our labs. But there's also a lot of opportunity to actually get out. We call it experiential learning. So not just learning by sitting in a classroom, but actually getting out and learning by doing things. And this can come in the form of doing different projects around the Carleton community or the Ottawa community. So I already talked a little bit about this, but our journalism program will often have students completing assignments by going out and interviewing like a political figure in Ottawa, or covering an event, going out to a big event that's happening in the city, and then writing like a newspaper article on it or a news article on it. So there's lots of ways that students can learn and take their learning outside the classroom. And our professors and our faculty are really supportive of that because we understand that while you can learn inside the classroom and you can learn by listening to your professors teach, it's also really beneficial to get out of the classroom and to learn by working on projects. For our engineering students, all of our engineering students get to do something called a 4th year project. So this is something that you would do with a few of your classmates or a few people in your specific stream of engineering, and you would work on a project together under the supervision of one of your professors. And it's always a project that is very functional and actually will be of use to you. So we have students trying to design things like autonomous vehicles, so cars that can drive themselves. So there's lots of ways that you can actually learn by doing different projects, doing research, going into the lab, or going out into the community and doing things like interviewing people.
Yeah, that's definitely really beneficial and fun at the same times for students. So before moving on and talking about the campus and admission requirements in more details and all of that, students are still asking more about programs. So Franco is asking about the digital media program.
Okay, so I think by digital media, you might be talking about the media production and design program, which is one of our programs within the Faculty of Engineering and Design. And so that's for people who are interested in, putting together different types of media production. So if you're interested in actually creating or being like the mastermind behind video production, then that might be a really good opportunity for you. And there is co-op available with that program as well. So there's really cool. It's cool because there's so many big news outlets in Ottawa, because this is the capital city of Canada. So our students will actually go and work with these different um, media companies. So there's like CBC, and actually see how everything goes on. And students will get to work with professionals who work behind the scenes to make everything happen on the news every day, or just to get news anchors out into the world. So there's some really good opportunities for our media production and design. I think that's what you mean by digital media. I hope I was right by that.
So Sarit is asking if Carleton offers international relations and diplomacy.
So we don't offer that specific program. We do offer a degree called Global and International Studies. And then this is actually one of our newer programs. I think it's about 7 or 8 years old now. And you have actually 18 different specializations that you can choose from. You can choose something like global law and social justice, globalization in the environment. You could do, there's specific like regional majors that you can choose from, like Africa and globalization, um, global inequalities and social change. So really any sort of global issue or international issue, you'll be able to like really focus in on that. So international relations is definitely going to be like woven into all of your classes if you're doing that program.
Great. And NGM is asking about the courses in web developing.
Okay, so web development, we have like, if you want to go a few different areas, we do have I would say computer science is probably like the one that you might find most interesting if you're interested in web development. We do have all the different majors that we offer are algorithms, artificial intelligence and machine learning, video game development, computer and internet security, and then management and business systems. Um, so if you're looking into web development, I would suggest computer science. But if you're looking at something like graphic design, then industrial design might be also something that you might want to look at. So yeah, computer science or industrial design.
Perfect. So now talking about employment in Canada and just working, can international students work while studying?
Yes, they can. And we actually have a specific office at our school called the International Student Services Office, and we call it ISSO for short. And within the ISSO, we have specific immigration advisors. So those people can help you secure working permits, because a lot of the time students will choose to do co op or they'll choose to do an internship or a placement. So you want to be able to get one of those visa so that you can do that. If you're in a program that doesn't offer co-op, or maybe you don't want to do co-op but you want to get like a part-time job somewhere, we offer a lot of opportunities for student employment on our campus. But then there's also a lot of opportunities for employment around the city of Ottawa. So it doesn't necessarily have to be tied to your degree or tied to what you're learning about. But it definitely is really helpful if you are wanting to get a job in your field. So we offer co-op. A lot of our programs offer internships or placements. The biggest difference between placements and co-op is that a placement is sometimes not paid, but you get a credit for it instead. So it like replaces taking a class. So we often encourage students to take advantage of opportunities like that. And we have different offices on our campus in addition to the ISSO to help students find employment. So we have our career services office, which has a job postings board. So you can see all the jobs that are available on campus. Different networking events so that you can go and network with professionals in your field. They offer resume help and cover letter help. So if you want someone to look at your resume and cover letter and maybe help you make some edits, they can do that. They also offer help with interview prep. And then same with the co-op office. So if you're looking to do co-op, the co-op office is there to help you get a placement with a company in Ottawa or a company nearby. So there's lots of support for students who want to work while they're studying.
Yeah, so my next thing that I was going to say was that Carleton is placed in the top 10 for graduate employability. And I was going to ask for some reasons of that. But you already mentioned a lot of the amazing services and the support that Carleton offers, which is really great. So, other than that, so you already talked about the work permit and working while studying, but there's also something else called post graduation work permit. Can you tell the students a little bit about that as well?
So I don't have a ton of knowledge on it. I do know that it's a permit that allows you to stay in Canada and work. I believe it's for 3 years after your graduation. But our International Student Services Office would definitely have more information on that because of they have the immigration advisors. So they can help you if you wanted to look into that, or you wanted more information. Um, but I believe it's for 3 years after you graduate. It's a permit that will allow you to continue working in Canada, and that way, if you're looking to apply for permanent residency, you've got time to do that. You've got time to build the skills, and it'll allow you to work while you're doing that.
That's great. So before moving about talking about the campus, I still see a lot of questions about programs. So I think we should answer these. So where was this question from? So okay, so there's a question from Tito. Um, do you okay? So do I qualify to do a Bachelor of Commerce, and do I qualify for credit transfer?
Okay, so I'm assuming that this question is coming from someone who has already completed maybe university studies or college studies. And the answer is yes. You can apply to us, even if you've already if you've completed university studies. Maybe you've only done 1 year and now you want to transfer, or you've done 2 years and you want to transfer. You can do that. So we get a lot of students who will actually start university in another country, but that want to come to Canada and continue their studies here at Carleton. So you're welcome to apply. You would apply the exact same way that someone would apply coming from high school. Um, and then once we see, so you'll have to submit your university transcripts or your post-secondary transcripts in addition to your high school transcripts. Your basis of admission becomes your university studies. So we're going to look at your marks from your courses at the post-secondary level. And then if you're eligible and we can give you an offer, then we'll also assess to see if you're eligible for transfer credit. So we always try to transfer as many credits as possible. But it really depends on how closely related your courses are to the courses that you'll be taking at Carleton, and also the grades that you got in these courses. So we want to make sure that you've got good grades and that you understand the material. So once you're given an offer of admission, then we let you know how many transfer credits we're going to give you for studying at Carleton.
Great. So Gadisa is asking if you have any music classes.
We I see EDM there. We don't have any like EDM classes. We have two different music programs though. So we have a Bachelor of Arts majoring in music. So this is like learning about theories of music. You're looking back at the history of music. You're looking at pulp culture or like popular music. I actually took a class called Issues in Popular Music, and it was really interesting. I loved that class. We got to watch music videos and analyze them and look at different like decades of music. But then we also have a Bachelor of Music, and in the Bachelor of Music, students are actually like so they're learning the like music theory, and the different kinds of music, but students are also actually required to submit an audition as part of admission, and you can play any instrument that you want. If you want to audition with a piano, a guitar, a trumpet, a trombone, clarinet, um, anything. And if you want to audition by singing, you can do that. You don't have to be playing an instrument. But throughout your time at Carleton, you are learning and you are developing your practice with an instrument or voice. So that one is really, it's a really cool program that our students, we have a few students in the program, and I always love talking to them because they have such interesting stories, and it's a small program. So it's a very like tight knit and community oriented program as well. So that's one of our music programs.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. So Bam is asking if you have an MBA program.
We do have an MBA program in our Sprott School of Business, and we actually have two types of MBA. So I know this. I'm not the master's expert, but again, grad studies is great to reach out to. But I do know that we have two different MBA programs. One of them is full time studying in your MBA, and then the other one is called PMBA, so professional MBA. And the difference is that people who are studying the PMBA are working full time while they're studying. So they're taking courses, outside of normal working hours. And I believe it takes a little bit longer to complete because your workload is less since you're working at the same time. But we do have those two MBA programs at Carleton.
Yeah, that's great. So we know that Carleton University is located in Ottawa, which is Canada's capital city and one of the most amazing cities to be in Canada. So can you just tell the students more about the lifestyle in Ottawa and the cost of living, maybe that they should expect as international students?
Yeah. So we always encourage international students to live in residence for their first year. Students who are coming to us from high school will actually get a guaranteed offer of residence. So this means that you'll have a spot in one of our on-campus buildings. There's 11 of them. We have about 3,600 students living in residence each year. And it's a really great way to get integrated into the Carleton community and to get to know your way around campus. Because you're on campus, it's super easy to just get to class because you don't have to walk more than 10 minutes to get there. You have everything you need, right at your fingertips. It's a great way to meet other people. So you have lots of other people living on the same floor as you. And there's a CAF. So there's one CAF for everyone living in residence. It's really big, and it's included in your like the meal plan is included in your residence fees. So you just pay the one fee for the whole year, and that includes your accommodations and your all of your food. The price is about $12,000 per year. It can be a little bit more than that if you're living in a room by yourself, so a single room, or if you're living in a suite. So that would mean that you have a kitchen and you can do some of your own cooking. But we always encourage students to take advantage of living on campus in their first year. But some students don't want to, or after your first year, maybe you want to live off campus in a house or an apartment with some friends close by, but a little bit further away from campus. And so typically, the cost of living for people who are not living on campus is a little bit cheaper than living in residence. So that's closer to about $9,000 for the year, 9 or 10,000 Canadian dollars for the year. So a little bit cheaper, but living in residence is a really great opportunity. I did it when I was in first year and I loved it because you get to meet so many other people, and you're super close to your classes, and it just makes getting used to a new place, it makes it a lot easier to do.
Yeah, definitely. So I know that we already talked a little bit about the general requirements for the admission, but some of the students are still asking. For example, Ian Burgo is asking about the SAT, ACT, DAT. So would you like to maybe give just like a general overview of the admission requirements for international students?
Yes. So for students who are really applying to any program, you don't have to submit like SAT or ACT scores. You can if you want. Essentially, it won't hurt your application if you think that it will help it. Then you can definitely do so. But the main thing that we look at are just your high school grades, so your high school transcript. Sometimes if your high school grades, like if they meet the minimum admission requirements, we won't even bother looking at your SAT scores. We'll just give you an offer. But if you want to, maybe if your average is a little bit lower than you would like it to be, you're welcome to submit your SAT scores or ACT scores if you think it'll help, if it will support or strengthen your application. But it's not a requirement for any of our programs, so don't feel that you have to. It's really only your grades for most of our programs. We're looking at your marks, and then you do have to show proof of English proficiency. We do have a few programs that have a portfolio requirement, so a supplementary application, but not very many of these. But these programs include architecture and industrial design. Students are required to submit a portfolio. Our Bachelor of Social Work, students are required to submit some letters of recommendation and then to answer some essay type questions. Music has the audition that students have to submit. And then we have the interactive multimedia and design stream of information technology. That one requires a portfolio as well. And then humanities is the other one. But other than those programs, it's just your grades, just your high school grades that we're looking at. So you don't have to submit your SAT scores if you don't want to.
Great. So Mugabo is asking about the minimum score for Duolingo test.
That's a good question. I believe it's 115, but if you give me 2 seconds here, I can tell you exactly what it is. Um, yeah, so for Duolingo, to be admitted with no ESL requirements, so just admission, is 115 with no subtest score below 90. So in every subtest, your score has to be minimum 90, and then your overall score has to be 115. But we do have admission with an ESL requirement. So if your score is between 85 and 114, then you can be admitted with an ESL requirement as long as all of your sub-test scores are at least 65.
Perfect. So we talked a lot about the admission requirements, but can you also talk a little bit about the admission process? Like where can the students apply? And also about the admission deadlines. Tarek here was also asking about the admission deadlines and if the applications are still open.
Yeah, great question. So the application deadline is April 1st. If you're looking for September entry, the application deadline is April 1st. So you still have like a month and a half to submit your application, lots of time. However, some of the programs that I mentioned having an additional requirement, they have an earlier deadline, such as March 1st. But other than that, it's April 1st for all of our other programs. We do encourage students to apply sooner rather than later because some of our programs do fill up, our more competitive ones. But you do have until April 1st. And then there's two ways that you can apply to Carleton. So one of them is by applying through the Ontario University's Application Center. It's called OUAC for short. Or you can apply directly to us on Carleton 360. If you're applying to more than one university in Ontario, we recommend that you use OUAC because you pay a one-time fee, or you pay a fee of, I think it's 166 Canadian dollars, and that gets you 3 applications. So you could apply to Carleton for one of our programs. Maybe you're applying to the University of Toronto for another program, and then maybe you also want to apply to the University of Waterloo, for example. So you can do that. It gives you 3 applications. But if you're only applying to Carleton and you're not looking at other universities in Ontario, we recommend that you apply directly to us on Carleton 360, which you can find on our website. This is a fee of 100 Canadian dollars, and it gives you 2 applications. So you can apply to 2 different programs, and it's very straightforward, and it's a great way to apply if you're only looking at Carleton and not other universities in Ontario.
Perfect. So something else that a lot of the students are interested to know and they always ask about is the tuition fee average at Carleton University.
Yeah, so for international students, it depends on the program that you are entering. But our tuition fees for international students range between $28,000 per year in Canadian dollars and $40,000 per year in Canadian dollars. So some of our more expensive programs are computer science, engineering, business, and then sort of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Communication and Media Studies, journalism. So it ranges between 28,000 Canadian dollars and 40,000 Canadian dollars per year. And you can submit your payment twice a year. So you can do half of your payment at the beginning of the year and then half of your payment in the middle of the year.
Great. So what are the scholarship opportunities for international students who want to apply?
So for students who are coming from us from high school, so if you have not completed any post-secondary studies, you will be automatically considered for one of our entrance scholarships. So you don't even have to apply for these scholarships. When we review your application, we will review to see if you're eligible for a scholarship. And these scholarships range from $4,000 to $16,000. But these are broken up into your 4 years of study. So for example, if you are given the $4,000 scholarship, it means that we're going to give you $1,000 every year because you'll be studying with us for 4 years, presumably. The higher your marks are, the more money we'll be able to give you. So you need to have a minimum average of 80% when we review you for admission. And let's say you have a 95%, then we'll be able to give you the higher scholarship, which is the $16,000 one. We do have prestige scholarships. So these ones are of higher value, but they do require an application, which is coming up soon. It's March 1st. And we're looking for students who have at least a 90% average or GPA. And then you would also talk about on the application, you would talk about your extracurricular activities or your, experience that you have in your community, so that we can pick, the highest achieving students possible. And these ones go up to $12,000 per year.
Great. So Sally's just asking if you have a psychology program and a scholarship for that.
Yeah, so the scholarships that I just mentioned apply to all programs, and then other than that, we don't have scholarships that are specific to like each program. But we actually have two psychology programs. So we have psychology within our Bachelor of Arts, and then we have psychology within our Bachelor of Science. So the big difference is that if you're doing science, then you obviously have to have science courses in high school so that you are eligible for the science psychology program. And then in this one, you are going to be looking at you're taking a science approach to psychology. So you're looking at the brain, you're looking at the chemistry and the biology of the brain. You'll study things like neuroscience as well. But if you're looking at psychology from the Bachelor of Arts perspective, then you're looking at it from a more behavior-based perspective and learning about different theories, but not necessarily diving into the science behind the brain. It's mostly theoretical and behavioral approaches to psychology. And if you're doing the Bachelor of Arts psychology, then you can do co-op. And there's different majors that you can, or concentrations that you can choose from, such as sports psychology, developmental psychology. What else is there? There's forensic psychology. So there's a few different ones that you can choose from.
Yeah, perfect. That's interesting. So there's still a lot of questions about programs, and I'm really trying to pick them all before the time is over because I know that you guys are really looking for the answers. But if we didn't get a chance to answer your question, you can definitely still contact Emily after this live, and do not hesitate to contact her and get more answers from her. We still have 2 minutes now, so I'm gonna try my best to pick as much questions as I can. So I know, Emily, that you said you know more about like undergraduate programs, but Akuba has been really asking about this one program. It's a master program on peace and security strategies.
So you would definitely be able to study that if you're doing a master's, because we have a school of international affairs that has a really strong master's program. So if you're studying within that program, you can definitely do research and you can focus on peace and security strategies. That's something that we're really strong at doing. So I would really encourage you to look into it's called Norman Patterson School of International Affairs. And it's a really big or really strong school that we have within Carleton, where students can learn about global and international affairs. And peace and security strategies is something that you would be able to study if that's what you wanted to do in your master's.
Perfect. And Faye is also asking about geology at Carleton University.
That's a good question. So we don't have a geology program, but if you wanted to look into our Bachelor of Science, we do have a lot of other majors that you can choose from. We have geomatics. I don't know if that would be something that would interest you, but we don't have geology. I would say that geomatics is the closest thing. But if you want to have a look at our Bachelor of Science, if you go to our website, there's a lot of different areas that you can choose from that might be related to geology.
Perfect. So, guys, that was it for today. Thank you so much, Emily, for being here. Thank you for answering the students' questions and giving them all this amazing information. And just like I mentioned before, if we did not answer your question, you can definitely contact Emily at this email that is provided on screen. And you can get in touch, ask your questions, and you will definitely get the answers that you need. So, Emily, would you like to say just some last words to the students about contact you or even about advice about studying abroad?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you everyone for tuning in and joining us today. It's been so cool seeing all of your questions come in and seeing where everyone is from. I want to thank Lean for having me here. It's been awesome. And I would say my best advice is to ask for help when you need it. So my email is right there on the screen. You are more than welcome to email me at any time. I'm happy to set up a video chat with you and I can answer your questions that way, or I can answer your questions by emailing you. It's whatever you would like. But we, as staff at Carleton, really want to be here to support you and help you. So please don't hesitate to let us know if you need any help or if you have any questions.
That's really great, Emily. It's really great to know that this is such a supportive environment for the students and that you're here to help them. So, thank you so much again for being here and for answering all those questions. And the students also are saying thank you. And I am sure that they got amazing information from you. And we really hope to have you here again at the Student World Talks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily. Bye. So, guys, that was it for today. That was such a great episode. We got so many information about studying in Canada. So, I'm waiting for you guys here. I'm in Canada. I want you guys to come here. We can be friends. We can study together. It's going to be an amazing journey for you guys. So, please always keep researching, keep looking for information, and we will also be there to help you. We have an Instagram page. It's here on screen called The Student World. We always post information there about universities, about studying abroad, and you can contact us there. You can direct message us on Instagram. You can comment, you can like, you can contact us in any way you would like, and we will be there to help you because this is what we do. The Student World is for you guys to study abroad and accomplish your dreams. So we hope to see you here again on the Student World Talks because we will have many more opportunities and many more lives. So thank you once again for joining us and see you soon, guys. Thank you.